So here we are again this morning, 125 BC. Looks like that number 47 machine, and that's who it's going to be with that Bell Whole Shot Award. That's Levi Kitchen making a break for it right ahead of the number 19 Brandon Way. Joshua Vrees in that number 3 position. Travis Howell rides in fourth. Larry Reyes Jr. in a number 5 spot, while Bryson Raymond comes around that corner in 6th position. Gage Stein followed by Gage Linville. Brandon Walter in the 9th spot, and Brock Bennett. But already seeing a shakeup right here. That number 24 machine, Joshua Vrees, putting himself into the number 2 spot, immediately getting on the rear fender, that number 47, Levi Kitchen. Speaking of rear fenders, Kitchen hanging off the rear fender, stepping it up back there, trying to get that Yamaha out and get some clean air, make sure he's got real estate between him and that number 24, Joshua Vrees. Moving up into the 3rd position, looks like it might be Travis Howell putting a move on, I believe, the number 52, Larry Reyes Jr. So as they come into view the first time, putting that whole shot to good use, that number 47 machine of Levi Kitchen. Keeping a tight inside line now, starting to see the track change just a bit of colors after that first race. These guys having great line choices out here for these 125cc surfaces turned over just a bit. These guys really be able to get maximum traction. Wow, as you can see, Levi Kitchen standing up on the rear wheel, feet up through the big beach turn, and watch this. We have a race on our hands. The number 40 machine, Gage Linville, coming all the way from the 8th spot, challenging right now for that number 2 position. Levi Kitchen leads them through for the first time. Gage Linville, Joshua Vrees, Brandon Ray in that number 4 spot. Larry Reyes Jr. rides in 5th. Jack Chambers putting on a charge in this first lap, getting himself into that number 6 spot, while Travis Howell manages to pull into the 7 ride. Bryson Raymond in the number 8 position, while Gage Stein, getting shuffled around just a bit there on lap number 1, comes through in the 9th position. Brandon Walter in 10th. Wyatt LeBeck in 11th. Brock Bennett rides in 12th. The 13th spot is Jackson Craig. Aiden Shrive in 14th. Christopher Blackmore in the number 15 spot. Right now, riders working their way out of that Cometic corner through the 10 Commandments. Oh, a couple different line choices right here. Might see a challenge. Oh, almost a big miscue from the number 19, Brandon Ray. Rode the nose out of the last commandment.
Well, I can tell you right now, Joshua Vrees would be looking at a national championship right now had it not been for that 6th place finish in Moto number 2. Now, not saying there's anything wrong with a 6th place finish, because I'm sure that one was a very competitive and hard one to achieve, but our lead here this morning, he's looking at a 2.61 for a score of 9. Gage Linville looking at this one with a 1.22 back there in that number 2 spot. So right now at the moment, he has the championship locked down. But Joshua Vrees looking at a 3.13 with a couple of passes here. If he can make a couple of passes up into that 1st place position, it might change the face of this race and the championship. But still a long road to hoe. We're only 3.5 minutes into this race. Leaders checking in for lap 2 complete. We'll see what kind of changes, if any, are taking place.
Well, Rodney, we're going to see what the final left-hander has to throw at us before the moto's over. We're going to see what the billboard turn does to us, and I'm sure that before it's over with, that Cometic corner and the 10 Commandments will come into play in this moto.
Wow, big changes taking place. Yes, you're absolutely right, Megawatt, but look at the changes. Kitchen and Linville up front in 1 and 2. Brandon Ray now into 3rd. Joshua Vrees, instead of moving forward in hopes of getting the championships, drops back 1 aboard the 24. Larry Reyes in the number 5 spot. Jack Chambers, the number 20 in 6th. Travis Howell, 57. He is running 7th. Brandon Walter in 8th aboard the 68. Bryson Raymond 9th aboard the 26. And Brock Bennett. It was straight, but then Brock Bennett in the number 10 spot.
Yeah, you mentioned the 19 of Brandon Ray. He's the one that came through the commandments on the front end. That guy was absolutely on the gas. Thought he was going to make a crucial mistake there. Instead, man, grabbed a handful, straightened that thing out, and put himself up into a podium position here early in this one.
Another rider just outside the top 10 and 12th place aboard the number 12, a rider that we kind of maybe expected to see a be a little more of a contender in this 125cc 12 to 17-year-old class, but another year under his belt could certainly prove a little different. We're talking about Gage Stein. Stein coming into this one with a 9-7 and 12, and we got to remember, you know, these early starts in early part of the week, bad starts, maybe not as good of finishes as they hope. Put a lot of weight on some of the riders that were anticipating, expecting, doing a little better, so they put a lot of weight on and a lot of pressure on themselves for those second motos. Here in this third moto, though, maybe a lot of pressure gone for some riders, and we'll see if they can shake that monkey on their back, so to speak. Guys like Gage Stein right now, as we said, just outside the top 10 and 12th aboard the number 12. We'll see if he can work things out. But right now, checking in. Look, here we go. Man, nose to tail megawatt.
Wow.
As we check in point 2. Levi Kitchen and Gage Linville. This battle for first place position is on right now. And what does it mean for the face of this championship? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, because Gage Linville already has the national championship locked up by 3 points. At this point, it's a risk and a gamble and a roll of the dice. He may be putting himself in a bad position if he gets up there and makes a mistake and puts in a compromising position that takes him back a couple of spots.
Naturally, Rodney, I got to agree with you, but when I take a look at him, this is his pace. This is where he's comfortable. There's open track out there. We're not into lappers and that type of thing. So if he's feeling the groove, if he's got the mojo rolling, that's where he's comfortable. He's less likely to make a mistake doing that than maybe being very cautious and tightening up and catching a mistake.
That's absolutely correct. So early in the race, he's able to establish himself.
It's 50-50.
A very good point. So, you know, the only thing, you know, in a situation you might, but obviously he got around easy. There was nothing really too out of the ordinary of that pass. So,
exactly.
So that was a good, clean pass. Kitchen racing clean, but you know, sometimes you got to wonder, is the risk worth the reward? Obviously, like you said, maybe the pace was a little too slow for him, and he needed to get that pick back up so he could get in that rhythm. And oftentimes it takes that rhythm to ride this track smooth.
Sure. Sure, absolutely. When you've got your groove, it's hard to really adjust one way or the other. And taking a quick look over his shoulder there, Gage Linville wanting to make sure he's in the clear, not going to make any unnecessary mistakes there. Wants to be aware of everything going on around him.
Well, there's Levi Kitchen checking around now in that final turn as we wrap up lap number 4.
Ooh. Yeah, just going to have to be careful. Little things like that. Just a small cross rut right there.
Well, I mean, I thought he made the pass there for a second. Now we see him back 2.2 seconds.
He did make the pass on this side right over here, but I got to believe when the cameraman went back to third position that we lost it right here.
See, that's the risk and reward I was talking about. I understand your pace you're talking about. But again, why push the envelope if it's not necessary? But Gage Linville settling back into that number 2 spot. Brandon Ray in third. Joshua Varese in fourth. Larry Reyes now in the number 5 spot. Jack Chambers is 6th. Brandon Walther in 7th. Bryson Raymond 8th. Brock Bennett in 9th. Still Wyatt Liebeck now into 10th. There's Gage Stein just outside the top 10. Now in 11th place position. Noah Wilbrandt is 12th. Matthew Curler 13th. Jackson Craig, the 38 machine, steady in the top 15 over the last few laps, is 14th. And Austin Kapakranik now rounding out the top 15.
Man, I've been watching Brandon Ray on that 19 machine. That guy is riding aggressive right now. He's trying to make a move. That guy is using every inch of this track. Again, inside, outside, using a bad line to try and make a move. Brandon Ray extremely aggressive right now on that number 19 machine, running a 154.2 right behind Linville's 154.7. Fast lap of this race, 151.9 by Linville on lap number 3. So you can see these guys having a definite advantage with the track conditions right now, and a 151.9, about 3 seconds quicker than Mike Brown's fast lap in the first moto, senior 40 plus. Wow. Look at this. There he comes. There's that 19 machine again, Brandon Ray, man. This guy is throwing everything at him. The number 24 machine, Varese, just taking one right there, taking a hit as he goes through the finish line.
Well, Varese really, I mean, last time around, Varese in that 4th place position and right on the rear wheel, and now Brandon Ray, they kind of swap back and forth a couple of different times, and we're going to see, I think, some more swaps back and forth here.
Yeah, look at this.
Another change here. Now Varese up to 3rd, Brandon Ray off to the 4th spot.
That's how you have to do that, Rodney, though. You have to answer back quickly. You know, you can't sit back, okay, I'm going to study, I'm going to regroup this. Most of the time in this situation, if you can't attack back immediately, you've given up about 50% of your chances of making it happen at any time the rest of the race. Levi Kitchen, though, still continuing to lead this thing. Gage Linville in that number 2 position. Brandon Ray in the 3rd spot. Josh Faries in that number 4 spot. And Larry Reyes Jr. in the number 5 position. Camera right now continuing to follow. Let's see, I believe right now that's that 21 machine. That's Brock Bennett. Bennett back in that number 8 position right now. Seems to be riding all alone. Doesn't have a much of a race going on in his world. He's about 3 seconds behind Walter and about 2 seconds ahead of Bryson Raymond. Now we look at the 24 machine. Joshua Varese got back ahead of I'm sorry, Brandon Ray. Yeah, he's still ahead of Brandon Ray. Yeah, so yeah, he got back ahead of him and actually starting to put some distance on him. That's what was throwing me off right there.
Yeah, they had a well of a battle through lap 4 and into lap number 5, or through lap 5, I should say, and into lap number 6. But just past the billboard, Varese was able to establish that 3rd place position and start posting some dominance out there, and we're starting to see that gap now probably 3-4 seconds as we wrap up lap 6 for Levi Kitchen, grabbing that Bell Helmet Hole Shot Award and twisting that throttle, or a rip and grip, if you will, as he holds on to that number 1 spot still after 6 laps of racing complete. 4.8 seconds ahead of Gage Linville. They're turning nearly identical lap times in that 154 range now. Joshua Varese a little bit quicker, just under the 154, but still 4.6 seconds back in the number 3 spot. Brandon Ray checks in 4th. 5 seconds back now in 4th place. Larry Reyes another 5 seconds back in 5th, and it's Jack Chambers, Brandon Walther, Brock Bennett in 8th, Bryson Raymond in 9th, and Wyatt Liebeck rounds out your top 10.
Rodney, already almost 12 minutes into this when clock keeps ticking. I was watching the laps go up, not paying much attention, but holy cow, there it is right now, 12 minutes in, 8 minutes to go in this one. About 8 minutes left, doing about 2-minute lap times. Of course, going to be about 4 laps, so about a 10-lap race, I'm sure. So just about 12.5 minutes in, 7.5 minutes to go on lap 6 now. Looks like 10 laps approximately is where we're going to be, and right now starting to see things heat up just a bit. Joshua Varese dropping down to a 153.9, cutting into that lead right now, trying to get a beat on that number 40, Gage Linville, trying to close in on him. Only about 4 seconds back right now. Lots of time left in this one. Fastest man on the track last time around, Varese on that 24 machine. Your leader turned a 154, Gage Linville a 154, Varese a 153. Behind him, Brandon Ray, 159. Larry Reyes, 156. Jack Chambers, 156. Brandon Walter, Brock Bennett, Bryson Raymond, and Wyatt Liebeck all on a 156 lap time. Clicking off another one now, lap number 7. Kitchen and Linville work their way through. 154.8 for your leader. Gage Linville turned a 154.6, so a couple tenths quicker. Linville starting to chew up some of this real estate right now, slowly but surely getting a beat on that number 47 of Levi Kitchen. Coming up next, 250C Limited, race number, looks like 15, race number 15. 250C Limited. Our leaders now, Levi Kitchen and Gage Linville in second, working their way back into the forest, into the deep shadows. Linville uncorking it right there, sending it. Using those inside lines right now, trying to make the shortest track possible. I think we might have lost just a little bit of time on Kitchen as he worked his way into some of those deep ruts back there, getting just a bit hung up, having a bit of a hiccup. Working his way back into the front now, into that deep sand, and looking for the 47 machine. I believe he should be, that's him coming through right now. So Levi Kitchen into the big sweeper in front of the announcer's tower here, looking good. 47 machine on note right now. That thing wide open as he brings himself into this final left-hander. Going to be about 8 laps. Going to be 8 laps in the books. 5 minutes left. Going to guess next time around these guys probably going to see the 2-lap card next time around. So Kitchen just making his way by. Gage Linville giving up just a bit of time. Was about a 4.2 second gap. Now it's 4.5. But again, these guys both turning 154. Linville again about 100th quicker in that second position. So Linville trying to make the track shorter, but not able to make up that distance. Joshua Varese still hanging in there, but he's closed that gap down to about 3.3 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, if you look at this, the battle for the championship lies in that second and third place position of Gage Linville and Joshua Varese. Linville looking at a 1-2-2 with a score of 5 right now, and a 3-1-3 for Josh Varese. So basically, here's what's going to happen. If Varese makes the pass on Linville, that is going to drop his score to a 6 with a 3-1-2. If Gage Linville drops from second to third, that will increase his score from 5 to 6 with a 1-2-3. So it's a tie moment at that particular point. The best finish in the second moto would then go to Joshua Varese, and he would be your national champion. Now, all of a sudden, Megawatt, that pass that Gage Linville was trying to make on Levi Kitchen in the early part of this moto starts to make a little bit more sense.
Sure it does. Absolutely. And, you know, oh, look at this.
There it is.
No, that's a lapper, but he needs to be very careful was my point. I said he's charging this thing in. I don't think that lapper knows he's coming up. And, man, that could have been extremely critical if that lapper went for that inside line.
Wow, so the battle for the championship is there for second place. 3 seconds separate the riders. Joshua Varese about 0.6 of a second faster. Will the blood in the water, the 24 Varese smells on Linville, will he be able to utilize that for the adrenaline that he's going to need to move up and around the number 40 machine to capture this championship? 2.4 seconds separate these riders now as they check in. Linville with a 156.1, Varese with a 155.2, nearly a second faster.
Yeah, and he's got 2 laps to do something here. Next time around, white flag will be out. Varese on the move. The guy's got the quickest time on the last lap, so almost a second he made up on Linville. So let's see what he can do here with 2 laps to go.
Well, there's Gage Linville now through the short chutes, the long short chute, if you will, heading toward that Cometic corner, making that hard right-hander into the 10 Commandments. Again, 2.4 seconds is what we were looking at the finish line, but I'm thinking that that gap is now increased. Maybe Varese making a mistake because that's much larger than 2.4 seconds that we're seeing behind Gage Linville, that second place ride.
Yeah, there had to be. Yeah, had to be a hiccup or something. I can't see where he got around, but also was not in the same camera shot. So that tells me that 2 seconds has definitely been increased.
Right. So now look at this, Gage Linville picking up the pace. He's actually closing in on Kitchen. That was a 4-second deficit. When they came around that time, that was closer to 2 between Kitchen and Linville. So obviously he feels the pressure. He knows Varese is coming, so he picks the pace up here on lap number 10.
Yeah, Levi Kitchen takes a little look over his shoulder right there, double checking the situation, make sure he's 100% sure what's happening around him. And as he comes over the cake slice, going to be picking up the white flag this time around. All right, through that tight left-hander. Now here comes the number 47. Here comes the number 47. And sure enough, puts himself into the lead position again on lap number 10. Gage Linville this time still about 4.4 seconds behind. 155.5, 155.7. Joshua Rees definitely falling off the pace right now, looking for that 24 machine. All right, Varese through. Now this time 18 seconds back, Rodney, so a 2:11 this time for Varese, as we suspect, ran off the course. So I got hung up in one of those deep berms. or something. So
yeah,
Kitchen, Linville, Varese on this white flag lap.
He saw it in his sights. Got a little nervous, maybe. Not sure what happened, but Varese still in a solid spot with second overall here. A 3-1-3 here for the championship. Second's not bad, but I know we all want that shield, man. They all want that big first place shield, but only one rider can take home the national #1 plate and the #1 shield. So that looks like it's going to be Gage Linville if he can maintain here through this final lap of racing here in the 125 12-17 BC class. Levi Kitchen grabbing our whole shot in this one and has not looked back from point go, other than there for a few moments. Gage Linville in the early part of the race put together a little bit of a battle for him, but since then not until, well, maybe now he might be looking over his shoulder so much, but Gage Linville just far enough back that Moto Gold should be going to the 47 of Kitchen. Now, what does that mean for Levi Kitchen's championship hopes? He's got a 2, 6, and a 1, and that will bring him to third place overall. So again, really a redemption ride here in this third and final moto. He puts an exclamation point on this and says, hey, I'm capable of winning at Loretta's.
Yep, and you ruined it for me, because just there again, Levi Kitchen has not looked back, but he did take a glance over his shoulder.
You got to keep that peripheral open,
for sure, man. That's right. And great ride, man. Picture perfect here early in tough conditions. You know, the track's still changing dramatically. Lines moving around a good bit, and right now, calling this one, Levi Kitchen, Gage Linville in the second position. Varese falling back about 16 seconds out of that spot, and sure enough, there he comes in the #3 position. Jason Wygant going to be down on the podium with our winners. Going to hand out the big hardware coming up here in just a minute. Coming up next, race number 15. Race number 15 will be our 250C Limited. So Saturday morning, and here we go, clicking off the races already. Final motos of the week. A lot of rigs packed up and leaving already, but a lot of action still to go. We're going to race our way all the way through about 4 o'clock today, and then we're going to start handing out some hardware at the Lucas Oil Arena for our award ceremony 2019 Rocky Mountain ATV MC Amateur National Motocross Championships at Loretta Lynn's, presented by Lucas Oil. Been an amazing week. Some of the most amazing conditions that we've ever witnessed down here at the ranch. And taking a look at conditions today, I gotta have to say, probably some of the finest conditions of the week. Right now, Weege getting set up down there.
1-2.
Like
hey, I'm going to take it down here at the podium at Megawatt. And Rodney, we've got a whole shot winner and a moto winner. So an awesome way to end it in Schoolboy 1 for the number 47 of Levi Kitchen. Nothing has changed in this sound system, but it's just going crazy today. First of all, the start was awesome. How was the rest of the race?
Yeah, the start was amazing. I've never came around the first turn and like, wow, it was the craziest feeling. Yeah. And then I knew I just had to put my laps together, and I made a few mistakes at first, and Linville was pretty close to me, and I was getting a little worried. But then I kind of just kept a good pace, and I think I wore them out, and was able to get a little bit of a gap, some breathing room, and took it home.
Cool. Who do you want to thank, Levi?
I'd like to thank my mom, dad, my sister, my mechanic Connor, whole Cycle Trailer Rock River Yamaha team, Alpine Star Boots, Moose Racing, 100% goggles, Bell helmets, FMF, Real Deal, Sherry and Rob, can't thank them enough, and just everybody else, thank you.
Let's hear it for Levi Kitchen, your moto winner. Okay, we're going to clear the number 47 machine off and bring the number 40 bike on up, and we'll talk to our champ. I'm going to bring third place on the podium, and we'll talk to him while we bring up the championship motorcycle. Well, he gave it everything he had. He definitely made it interesting down the stretch, but he ends up third in this moto. Let's hear it for Jammin' Josh Varese. It was all on the line, third moto. I'm sure you knew it. You gave it everything you had. What was that moto like?
Yeah, I knew I had to be in front of Gage on checkered flag, and I got a good start. I was sitting in second, and just made a wrong line choice before the finish line. Went too far inside, and the ruts are just not developed yet. So he ripped around at me and got in front of me, and I saw it was him. And I don't know, I just couldn't click my lines off. But then another kid got around me, and I got him back. And I knew I can see Gage. I knew just keep pushing, and I saw the 2-lap card come out. And I hit a wrong rut on the face of this triple off the finish line and just sent me off the track and hit a pretty big dirt clump and just washed the front end. But I wish I would have stayed up to see what I could have done, but it happens.
Yep. Good story there. Who do you want to thank? It's been a solid week, got some gold medals and all that. Who do you want to thank for it?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Lord for keeping me safe, my mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, my little brother, KTM Orange Brigade, my trainers Nate Ramsey and Jimmy Sloan, 60, Free the Peeps, Mr. Business, Scott, Leah, Thor, Alpine Star, and Nihilo, FMF, D2N Air Filters, Factory Connection, Twisted Development, Pro Taper, Chirby's, ASV, Dunlop, and everyone else I forgot. Thanks.
There it is, Josh Farise. And now we prepare to crown a champion in this Schoolboy 1 division. He had to hold on. He had to get it done. He had to be consistent. And for that, he earns all the accolades. He is your champion of Schoolboy 1, Gage Linville. Come on back here when you can, Gage. That's where you get all the bikes sponsors in there as well. Well, probably the sweetest feeling silver medal you're ever going to get. It was on the line. Farise was trying to catch you. You were even going after Kitchen a little while. How did that moto play out?
Yeah, it actually played out really good. I actually got off to a good start this time, and I moved my way up to second, and I knew Levi was winning, which he's going really fast, and I tried to stay with him. I just had to keep out for Farise. You know, he's ripping this week, and I know I had to beat him to get the title.
What's this do for you in your career to do it on a big bike and get a huge championship?
Oh, yeah, I mean, the plan's definitely to go big bike, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right, Gage, who do you want to thank? This championship's got to mean so much.
Oh, the good Lord for keeping me safe, my mom and dad, stepmom, everything they do. MTF for everything with cardio and riding, and Big B for gating me, Little Brian, Colleen. Fox for the gear, 100% for goggles, JMS for the motor. David Wallace for all he's done for me this year, Factory Connection, FMF, Monster Army, Roostem X, and everybody else, thank you.
And we're going to bring to the stage here from the American Motorcycle Association, Tad DeWalt, one of the representatives, commissioners from Missouri, to hand over the Schoolboy 1 #1 plate. Ladies and gentlemen, your national champion is Gage Linville. He gets it done, and that's a big one. He's going to celebrate. If the crew wants to come up to take some photos, yeah, he's walked right into that. You folks can take all the photos you want, shake some champagne as well, and we'll let them celebrate the Schoolboy 1 championship. And I'm going to send it back up. Go ahead.